Hello, Starseeds. Honey here. And I wanted to take a moment this morning with information that I'm researching on because I feel like it's very important that people understand that everything is energy, okay? I currently am doing some research on um, the spirituality aspects of food. Um, I recently, I don't want to say too recent, I've been slowly over the past couple of years been changing my diet. Okay, let's start there. But more aggressively trying to push myself into a plant based diet more consistently over the past 12 months. There's a lot of things that I used to eat that I simply just do not eat anymore. Um, as far as my health journey is concerned, a couple of years ago, when I was going through a lot of different things in my life, I was almost 350 pounds. And this is no disrespect to anyone who is, you know, heavier or thicker. I believe, whatever you feel comfortable as far as your own body is concerned. Because we are spirits having a human experience. But my journey as far as with food has been a crutch. I went through a lot of very toxic and abusive experiences, and food was my emotional band aid. So I used to eat my emotions. But it wasn't until I started cutting out toxic connections out of my life and situations that I realized how important it was for me to um, reestablish my relationship with food, because there is a spiritual aspect with that as well. I believe that everybody has their own addictions. Nobody is perfect. I mean, even I fall short of this very same thing all the time. There's just certain things that, every once in a while I still crave. And, thank goodness to certain companies that have worked very hard to provide products for everyday people like myself, to still, fulfill their taste for things without compromising the health aspect. Um, Needless to say, when I decided to start taking that extra measure and not only, meditating and, you know, what people disguise spirituality up as, and this is nothing personal to tarot or, um, crystal work, Reiki, all those things are great. But sometimes I just want to, be like the star card and be vulnerable and stripped down and just may not be physically all the time, but just like tap in without the tools necessary for the journey. And I find that it's very refreshing to just silence my mind. And you know I'm literally getting the visualization of that scene in Harry Potter where Dumbledore is just pulling thoughts out of his mind into the pensieve. Like, it's just a free flow of channeling energy. And sometimes when you have a lot of energies as an empath, it's easier to just do it this way. I'm getting off on a tangent now, I'm sorry. This post is going to be about my spiritual connection and journey with food, because I feel like, you know, nobody's perfect. Everybody has an addiction. Now, I often find that um, even after changing my life and doing a lot of different things and ending a lot of different things that I was doing, because I was, you are what you hang around. I was um, in my younger 20s, I was a manager of a nightclub, so I was around that atmosphere. Um, and I was, of course, young. I was in a toxic relationship at the time that uh, basically just the connection was built off of false pretenses. And I really didn't understand the concept of what unconditional love was until I stepped outside of everyone else in my life and chose to give myself that first. Um, in doing so, it has catapulted me to delve deeper into myself, like rediscover myself as, who am I as a person? What am I contributing? And how can I master or develop my gifts to where it would not only be beneficial for myself, but beneficial for others? It also taught me how to create healthy boundaries. You know what I'm saying? Because as an empath, we exert energy and we have to have these set boundaries so that we don't deplete ourselves, and to also focus on building a life that we could wake up every day and be happy to live. So, the energy, everything is energy. Even your food has energy, okay? When you handle something, part of your personal energy is transferred into it. Your base energy, which is the energy that exudes from, I mean, I believe all of your chakras have energy, but I I personally think my base energy is coming from my heart chakra because of the electromagnetic field that is around all of us, also known as aura. But your base energy is affected by your emotional state, which acts as a lens or a filter through which your personal energy passes and is thereby affected by it. This is important to remember because all the time it's one of the reasons you're not supposed to handle sacred objects without being properly prepared. But it's particularly important to remember when you handle your food. You know, they say the common saying is that you are what you eat, but it is also true to say that you eat what you are. Or more precisely, who you were when you prepared your meal. Interesting. So, I touched lightly on this in another reading somewhere on my channel. But I also get questioned a lot. Like, I wear headphones a lot. Um, it's because I want to keep my vibe high at all times. Usually, when I'm preparing or prepping food, if I'm not listening to something motivational or music, it's frequencies. Because when you are doing anything, creating anything, you want to make sure that your vibrations are high. You want to make sure that your chakras are aligned. Um, Anything can bring your vibration down. There's so many different aspects in life every day that um, we're constantly being thwarted and penetrated against, uh, like like UV rays. You have to have sunscreen on. You know what I'm saying? So this is just a way for me to constantly attempt to keep my vibrations high so that throughout the day my energy from my aura is not depleted. The spiritual dimension of food and food related activity nourishes the soul through the exchange of energy. Preparing and consuming food spiritually is an act of appreciation for the here and now. Consuming food spiritually can involve thinking about the food sources, its connections, its associations to the season, its place in your life, and the impact its energy has on yours, among other things. I think this is also so very important. When I was an undergrad, there was a particular research paper that I wrote on genetically modified organisms. And after doing that research paper, that really opened my eyes to be more, you know, concerned about where my food comes from, what factories process the food, what farms are growing the food, what kind of pesticides do they use. You know, these are things that I didn't, not that I didn't think about, but I wasn't concerned about. Um, and then when I got pregnant with my children, I started to think about these things because, you know, I wanted to be a good mom. I wanted to, you know, give my children a good life. Not that I didn't have one, but, you know, no matter how good people may think your parents are, you know, you always take the good out of the situation and then want to push yourself to be better in certain areas. I mean, that's everybody. But the food aspect of it was very important to me. Spiritually, I see the tie in it now and how amazing that the human body is, that Source would create our bodies to just literally be able to provide, you know what I'm saying, the nourishments. When I think back at how OCD I was, both of my children never touched formula. And this is no judgment to any mom who uses it, but, you know, I nursed both of my boys. Um, I definitely looked into taking the extra measure of, you know, preparing their baby food. Um, I started buying organic. There's just an aspect of consuming food spiritually that can involve thinking about the food sources, you know, it's very important. I know that everyone has to eat. It's one of the basic physical needs. Um, but a personal spiritual connection to your food gives it another dimension beyond the basic physical relationship of fuel to the consumer. Um, at the very least, food can do is deliver the basic calorie package with its vitamins and nutrients to the consumer. It only makes sense to enhance it by handling it with awareness at every step of the process. This maximizes its spiritual potential. So, you know how certain people will say grace. Um, this is looking at it from a different aspect. When you are blessing your food, you are um, you are literally not only telling the universe that you're grateful for it, but you're actually warding away whatever negative energy that may have been on it. I find that this is also very important to do if someone else prepares your food or you are dining out. A lot of people will still uh, for instance, if I'm out the other night with my boys, we went out to dinner for my dad's birthday, and you know, we prayed in the restaurant, okay? And I had the family sitting next to us in the booth. Oh wow, I haven't seen someone pray in public in a long time over their food. Like, that's really cool that that you're saying grace over your food. Like, it just was very odd that this person was pointing this out. And I'm realizing now, as I'm making this message, that this coincides with this message. When someone else is handling your food, you don't know the attitude that person is having, what kind of day they're having, what kind of vibration they're in. And I feel like that affects the taste and quality of the food also. When you put passion behind anything you do, you're going to see a different result. But I also find that, you know, you don't want to leave that in the matter of someone else's hands all the time. You want to also make sure that you say grace over your food, because it is a way that you are telling the universe, one, you're grateful for the food that you have before you, and two, you are raising the vibration of the dining experience before actually having it. I mean, why would you not use food as a spiritual expression and mode of communication? Because your energy affects food at every stage of the process, from preparation to consumption. So it's very important for my chefs out there to be aware of your energy while you do things, but more importantly, while you prepare your meals. Now, another aspect of this is that food does possess its own energy, and generally this will be the predominant energy it carries. So if we're talking about processed food and things that are kind of like pre-prepared through, you know, distribution, inventory, things of that nature, the vibration probably isn't going to be that high. But when we're talking about from root to table, those are going to be the types of food that are very high vibrational. Now, the energy of every person who has handled that food root to table will add to it. However, modifying and shaping the innate energy to various extents. Um, this is why it's very important to be mindful of these things, because it's something that we deal with every day. It's easy to forget the spiritual aspect of it, um, as well as the physical necessity to clearing the mind and focusing on each movement and action during the process of you eating something. I feel like diet is way deeper than just watching calories and what you eat, because there's you notice how some people could just literally eat whatever they want, and it's not a weight issue. It's because of the energy behind things. um Eating simply to keep yourself alive or skinny denies the spiritual aspect of the act. By eating with awareness, you create the opportunity for that spiritual connection to reemerge in your life. Let every action that you connect your energy to be with purpose. So I say this, um, if you are a chef or a creative person, or you just love to cook, um, put an intention behind this and an action, because I can guarantee you, um, just for example, my kids will always gas me up and be like, mommy, we like your home cooking. We don't like everybody's home cooking. And it's no different, the steps that I make, that maybe another person will make in the kitchen. It's just the difference of the energy and love. You can tell when someone puts love and passion into something they do. As simple as pancakes and eggs. You see what I'm saying? Um, you can taste the energy in the food. This is coming from a foodie, y'all. I'm sorry. It's just a random post I'm making, but um, becoming vegan, you know, it messes with your taste palette because now you gotta, you know, make all these changes. And it wasn't until I realized the energetic aspect of the connection to food that that it started tasting better. So I just wanted to share that with you all, and hope that it gave you some insight on how important really everything is. An extension of your energy into anything you do is going to be impactful. So, enjoy your lunch.